Turkey is at a political crossroads as it faces a runoff election between President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and his opposition rival Kemal Kilicdaroglu. The outcome of this vote will not only determine who leads Turkey for the next 5 years, but also what direction the country will take on a number of critical issues and challenges. One of the most pressing issues for many Turkish voters is the economy. Turkey has been suffering from a severe cost of living crisis, with inflation reaching 20% and unemployment rising to 15%. The Turkish lira has lost more than half of its value against the US dollar since 2018, eroding the purchasing power of millions of households. Erdogan has been blamed for mismanaging the economy and interfering with the central bank's independence. Kilicdaroglu has promised to restore economic stability and growth by implementing structural reforms and attracting foreign investment. Another issue that has polarized the electorate is civil rights. Erdogan has been accused of undermining democracy and human rights in Turkey by cracking down on dissent, media freedom, academic freedom, and minority rights. He has also expanded his executive powers by changing the constitution and abolishing the parliamentary system. Kilicdaroglu has vowed to reverse these changes and restore Turkey's secular, democratic system. He has also pledged to release political prisoners, lift the state of emergency, and end the polarization in society. A third issue that has influenced the voters' preferences is the earthquake disaster that struck Turkey in February 2023. The earthquakes killed more than 50,000 people and left hundreds of thousands homeless. They also exposed the government's failures in enforcing building codes and providing timely rescue efforts. Erdogan admitted that his administration was slow to respond and asked for forgiveness from the public. He also promised to rebuild the affected areas and provide compensation to the victims. Kilicdaroglu criticized Erdogan for neglecting public safety and infrastructure, and accused him of corruption and nepotism. He also promised to hold those responsible accountable and improve disaster preparedness. A fourth issue that has shaped the voters' choices is Turkey's role in regional and international affairs. Turkey is a NATO member and a key player in the Middle East, but its relations with its allies in the West have deteriorated under Erdogan's rule. Erdogan has pursued an assertive foreign policy that has involved military interventions in Syria, Libya, and Nagorno-Karabakh, as well as disputes with Greece, Cyprus, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt. He has also cultivated closer ties with Russia, China, and Iran, raising concerns among Turkey's NATO partners. Kilicdaroglu has promised to mend Turkey's relations with its allies and neighbors, and adopt a more balanced and cooperative approach to foreign policy. He has also pledged to respect international law and human rights norms. These are some of the main issues and challenges that influence the voters' preferences in Turkey's presidential election. The runoff vote on May 28 will decide whether Erdogan will extend his 20-year rule or whether Kilicdaroglu will usher in a new era for Turkey. The potential scenarios and implications of a second-round runoff, including the strategies and alliances of both candidates, and the possible impact on Turkey's democracy and stability. The runoff election on May 28 will be a decisive moment for Turkey's future, as voters will choose between two very different visions for their country. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who has ruled Turkey for 20 years, is facing his toughest challenge yet from Kemal Kilicdaroglu, the leader of a broad opposition coalition that includes secularists, nationalists, Kurds, and liberals. Erdogan has a slight advantage over Kilicdaroglu, as he led by about 4.5 percentage points in the first round of voting on May 14. He also has the backing of his ruling alliance, which secured a majority in parliament in the same election. Erdogan's supporters see him as a strong leader who has modernized Turkey and defended its interests on the global stage. They also value his conservative and religious values, which resonate with many Turks. However, Erdogan is also facing growing discontent over his handling of the economy, which has been plagued by high inflation, unemployment, and debt. Many Turks are also unhappy with his authoritarian style of governance, which has eroded civil liberties, media freedom, and judicial independence. Erdogan has also alienated many of Turkey's allies in the West, especially the United States and the European Union, with his aggressive foreign policy and his purchase of Russian-made S-400 missile defense systems. Kilicdaroglu, on the other hand, has promised to restore democracy, human rights and the rule of law in Turkey. He has also pledged to revive the economy by implementing reforms and attracting foreign investment. Kilicdaroglu has vowed to improve relations with Turkey's neighbors and partners, especially in NATO and the EU. He has also reached out to various segments of society, including women, youth and minorities, who feel marginalized by Erdogan's policies. To win the runoff election, both candidates will need to mobilize their core supporters and appeal to undecided voters. They will also need to seek the endorsement of Meral Akşener, the leader of a nationalist party who came third in the first round with about 10% of the votes. Akşener has not yet announced whom she will support in the runoff, but she has been critical of both Erdogan and Kilicdaroglu in the past. The outcome of the runoff election will have significant implications for Turkey's democracy and stability. If Erdogan wins, he will continue to consolidate his power and pursue his agenda with little opposition or accountability. He may also face more social unrest and international isolation as he cracks down on dissent and challenges his adversaries. If Kilicdaroglu wins, he will face the daunting task of healing Turkey's deep divisions and rebuilding its institutions. He may also face resistance and sabotage from Erdogan's loyalists in the bureaucracy and the security forces. Whatever happens on May 28th, Turkey will enter a new era that will shape its destiny for years to come.